Who knows why we're here today?
To talk about neon lights?
Well,
No?
maybe. Maybe at the end. Anybody? Does anyone know what we're covering today?
How to schedule your day.
About calendars.
Yes, it sure is. Makes me wonder. I think Mo, that was you. Thank you. I think how many people get on and it's like a surprise. You don't know what you're learning, but maybe it keeps the day interesting. I don't know. But anyways, yes, today is Systems with Serri and Keeli and Brenda.
Yes.
And we are talking about calendars and calendaring and time blocking. And we're going to keep talking about it till we're blue in the face because it's just that important. And a lot of times when we see inconsistency and like someone not showing up or missing a meeting or, XYZ fill in the blank, it's because their calendar is not being utilized and maximized to its full capacity. I used to kind of fly by the seat of my pants, kind of having a vague idea of what the day would look like until I started using my calendar. So it's really important for both professional and personal. You guys should see Serri's calendar. There's something all day, every day. But also, Serri, I'll let you speak into this more. And Brenda, all of you guys, you wouldn't be in the position that you are in your company or in your career without building out your calendar. That's such a huge foundation to your day, to your business, to your life. So that's what we're talking about today. We're going to share some tips and tricks with you guys on how to time block and effectively use your calendar. And I think that if you guys just take what you learned today and put it into practice for a week, be super disciplined for a week. See how different you feel, see how differently your week goes. So that is my challenge to you. And I'm going to hand it over to our leadership team.
Ashley, you do so well at these intros. I love it.
The podcast.
Right?
That's like an odd, like random life dream. One day I would love to have a podcast. I don't know what I would talk about, but it would be fun.
All right. So this month, Systems of Serri and the Ops team, we are going to go deep on a few things. So who wants to do you want me to do the slides, you guys? Brenda, Keely?
Brenda has them ready.
I'm gonna do it.
Okay. Brenda's got the
I can
slides.
pull it up for you.
While we're doing that, I have a quick question for you all. How many of you all know who Rob Dyrdek is? Y'all know who he is? He's so he's a professional skateboarder. He does the show Ridiculousness. I actually helped him buy his house up in LA. Got to know him a little bit. And I found this super fascinating, and I'm going to share it with you guys in the chat. Super fascinating YouTube that he was speaking to Ed Milet about time blocking. We all have the same amount of time, how he can do what he does. And so I'm going to share that with you guys. But what I found super fascinating is to have somebody at that caliber basically doing exactly what we're going to show you guys today. And everybody's capable of doing it, but really getting your time in order and appreciating every minute that you have. So I'll share that in the chat. But today we're going to be going over basically three things with y'all. The first thing that we're going to be going over is, do we have the one slide, Brenda, of the three? Here we go. Okay. So what we're going to go over today is the importance of time management for real estate agents. Would you all agree that effective time management is critical for your success? Yes. Jen, yes. Big head nod. Yes, it is. I promise. And so the three things that we're going to go deep on today is goal and schedule setting, your Google Calendar, and time blocking. There's another word for it called time boxing. Has anybody heard of time boxing? It's basically the same thing, but it's the new kind of fun way of putting it together. And at the end, so stay put to the end, Brenda's actually going to do a kind of a live demo because her calendar's incredible. Wait till you guys see it. So let's scoot back over, Brenda, to the quote we got there. Kind of kick that off if you want to start there.
Absolutely. Just making sure I was unmuted. All right. I love this quote, Henry David Thoreau. It's not enough to be busy. So are the ants. The question is, what are we busy about? So today, what we really want to help you with, like Serri was saying, is a couple of things. Number one, what activities should I be doing? Number two, how do we leverage technology, Google Calendar specifically? And then number three, how do we use time boxing effectively to really get the maximum productivity out of your day? And so this isn't so much about time management. This is about what to do with the time and how to be productive and work smarter, not harder. And, get your stuff done so that you can enjoy the rest of your life, right? We work to live, not live to work. And so that's the outcome by the end of this training, is that you know what to focus on every day, you know how to leverage technology, and you know how to then plan your day effectively to maximize it. So with that, that's the agenda. So let's move on to goal setting. So Serri, am I taking this?
You are.
Okay, I'm just going to rock, guys. And so Keeli and Serri, what I'm going to invite you guys to do as co-host here is just interject, please, wherever you have something to add. This is going to be a collaborative presentation with me taking somewhat of the lead on this, but please feel free to add in your amazing experience. Goal setting. So guys and gals, all humans on this call, everything starts with your goal and your why behind it. And so we don't have time to cover it in this training specifically, but what I really want you to ask yourself is, do I have a vision? Do I have a vision for my life, and do I have a vision for my business? Because that's where your why comes from, and that's all encompassing. And so depending on which coaching model you look at, there's 7 areas of life, 8 areas of life, 4 areas of life, but do I have a vision for my life? And from that, have I taken time to set very specific and achievable goals? Most of us set 2023 goals, right, for the year. But I'll tell you what, a year is a really long time. So we either overestimate the amount of time that we have to get stuff done, and then we fall behind. Anybody familiar with that? Like, you've been there, right? And it's like, oh crap, we're halfway through the year and I'm not halfway through to my goal. So what I really want us to focus on is, how can we create mini sprints throughout the year? So the first sprint is a quarter. And so a 12 to 13 week goal, I like a 12-week goal because that 13 week gives us a bonus, either for time off or to wrap up anything that we've fallen behind on. And then from that, to create a 30-day sprint. So do I know what my monthly goal is? And we're going to teach you how to do monthly planning in this, and then break it down to the week, and then break it down to the day. So prioritizing, what am I going to focus on? Can I have one focus per month? And if I focus on that, then I've done 12 new things for the year, versus trying to focus on 12 new things every single month and never getting anything done. So it really is about, do you have clear prioritization? And are you creating mini sprints for yourself so that you're not burning out? And the sprints are daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly. Okay. So reverse engineering, I wanted to mention this because whatever your goals are, and what I'd encourage you to do, if you don't, I didn't mention this, please grab a piece of paper, notebook, pen, pencil, something to write with. Okay, there's a different cognitive process that happens when we write things down versus type them. So grab a pen and paper. Reverse engineering, first thing I want you to do, you should know what your annual goal is. Write down your annual goal. Second thing I want you to write down is, what is my goal this quarter? For the next 90 days, what do I need to accomplish? And if you don't know what that is, and anything that you're not able to complete in the spur of the moment, that's your action step after this training. Then what I want you to do is go, do I know what that means for the next 30 days? Do I know what my 30-day sprint is? And a lot of this, it may not be clear yet, but by the end of the training, it's going to be a lot more clear. And this is how you reverse engineer all the way back into your individual day to make sure that the dots connect. So I've got my 30-day sprint, then I'm going to create a 1-week sprint and plan my week. And then I'm going to plan all the way down to my day. Is what I'm doing today connected to my large, big goal? So in group coaching this morning, we talked about the daily stuff, the daily priorities is the non-sexy, uninteresting seeming activities like lead generation, follow up with current clients, follow up with that funnel regularly and consistently. It doesn't feel sexy. Drinking 100 ounces of water doesn't feel sexy. What is that doing for me if I do that once a week? Nothing. But if I do that every single day, am I going to have more energy? Am I going to feel better? And so your daily activities in your business are exactly the same thing. So reverse engineering is taking something really big and then breaking it in half and then breaking it in half and then all the way to where you get into your day. So I just want you guys to understand the concept that when we're throwing things into our daily calendar, it's not just random stuff. It has meaning and it has purpose to get us to, it's the small baby steps that feel insignificant when strung together consistently. That's when ordinary goes to extraordinary. And this is really hard as an entrepreneur, as a solopreneur, and as a business owner to hold yourself accountable to doing the unsexy things. So many of you have heard me talk about you're both the employer and the employee. So mindset is really important around this. At the beginning of the day, you're going to be the employer and give yourself the task to do. And then the rest of the day, you work like an employee. And if you don't complete your task, are you going to rehire yourself for the next day? Okay. So what I want you to do now is we're going to kind of jump ahead and I just want you to brainstorm a list of all the things you need to do. So as I talk about those daily routines, those daily habits, those daily to-dos, what are the things you need to be doing as a real estate agent and as a business owner every single day, every single week? So my priorities for my business for the week are, and I want you to brainstorm out. I'll give you a couple examples. Calling all of my active clients every day, sending them, one new listing per day with why I'm sending it and asking for feedback. Scheduling an open house for this weekend. Lead generation on my calendar. Appointments. Showings. So take a minute here, write down everything, and then personally, you also have commitments. And so everything that we do for you professionally today, you can also do for your personal life to help you have that time, whether it's with yourself, with your family, with, taking care of your health. Everything can be applied to your personal. But for right now, just for the sake of time, I want you to write a list of all your priorities in your business that you think you need to accomplish in a week or in a month. I'm going to give you guys 20 seconds of silence. If I had music.
I might be able to fix that. Just hold. Don't know what we'll play.
We'll have more writing time so you can.
I'll find some music.
I'm sure you will. All right. So I'm just curious in chat. So I want you guys to be interactive. Count up approximately how many things do you have on your list? Just curious. Throw the number into chat. Am I not seeing the chat or is, okay, there we go. Three. Okay. How many? 6. Okay. 8. 5. All right. We got between 3 and 8 so far. As an agent, as an entrepreneur, you have a lot more than that you could focus on, right? I like that you guys have actually narrowed it down and really started to prioritize. So one of the things that we have at the brand, which is really awesome, is a tool to help you measure your day at the end of the day. And it's called the 100-point day kind of form. 22, Gary, exactly. That's a lot, right? So if you've got 22, 25, look at this list, guys. This is, you don't have to copy this down. We're going to give you a link to this if you've never seen this before. But basically, this is a way, it's kind of a scorecard at the end of the day to measure your day. At the top, you can see it's all about prospecting. It's about number of dials, number of conversations, appointments set, and appointments met. Then we've got this whole list down here of, did you plan and prioritize your day? Did you have any meetings to attend? Did you do an open house networking event? So this list are all the activities that are needle movers somehow in your business or must do's. So you can take this list also and use it to say, okay, well, these are the things maybe I'm supposed to be doing that I haven't included in my business. And it's really much more comprehensive. We've also got some life points over here, which I like too, because how are you starting your day is going to impact. And so we'll talk about, I kind of have morning rituals as well. But am I asking for referrals? Did I make an offer and submit it, right? How does that play into my day? How am I going to fit all of this in to a day? So you've got a lot of things that you could focus on. Now, there's more on this list, like emails, Slack messages, text messages from my clients that aren't even on here that are part of your day. So we wanted to give you guys this so that at the end of the day, you can actually measure how well am I doing? Also to give you an idea of what should be on my calendar. Conversations, appointments set should be on your calendar every day. You should have a goal every day. I'm going to set 1 appointment today minimum. I'm going to have 5 conversations minimum. Do you have clear objectives like that every day? Then it's going to become, how do we do this? How, Brenda, do I then fit all of this into my waking hours without burning myself out and working nonstop? So that's what we want to give you today is, how do you plan and prioritize? So there's 2 main components to being productive and really maximizing your time that are really important. They get overlooked by 99% of business owners, especially solopreneurs. And so I call you a solopreneur because even though we're on a team, most of you work 90% of your time by yourself, out of your home office, maybe come into the office part of the time, and you're on the road, right? Your car is an extension of your office. You're meeting with clients and then you're by yourself again. So you're on your own. So there's 2 things that I want you to add to your weekly routine. Number 1 is a weekly business planning meeting with yourself. And here's the analogy that I give. If you had a business partner every week, whether that's Sunday evening, Monday morning, Friday maybe is the beginning of your week, doesn't matter what day it is, don't get stuck on that. But once a week, you would meet with your business partner. Serri and I meet once a week, right? We review our priorities, we divide and conquer, and then we go out and attack, and sometimes don't speak again for 3 or 4 days. Well, when you don't have a business partner, it's equally as important to meet with yourself as your business partner. So when you schedule this 20 to 30 minutes a week, your weekly business planning is to set up success for your week. To take all of those activities, those 20, 30, 40 activities that you could be focused on, and to start to look at your schedule and go, how and when am I going to accomplish that? So here's the agenda. And I'm going to show you guys this at the end in the Google Calendar and how I've got my weekly business planning set up and an example for you guys, and how I use the note section in the Google Calendar to have an agenda. And so this is a sample agenda, just 4 bullet points. It's actually 3, and then pencil it into your calendar. The first thing is you're going to evaluate the prior week. So jot this down. When I evaluate the prior week, you want to ask 3 things. What did I do well? Where did I fail? Yes, the F word. Where did I fail? What did I do well? At least 3 wins. You want to celebrate what you did well, but then you really want to identify, where did I get off track? Where did I fail? Then you want to ask yourself, okay, what does that mean for this week coming forward? What's one thing that I need to do better? So that's how you evaluate your previous week. Then what you're going to do is you're going to do my favorite thing, which is a brain dump. You're literally going to sit for 60 seconds and go, what do I need to accomplish this week? What's my game plan? And sometimes you're going to be writing the same things over and over and over and over every week. Lead generation. I want you writing that down. I want you to remind yourself what your priorities are, to know them. Then from that, from your brain dump, and many of you guys have done this with me so far in group coaching, is you brain dump everything that you can think of, everything that's on your mind, every person you need to follow up with, anything that's swirling. And most of us try to hold all of this here. And what happens is our subconscious then is so filled up with what we're trying to remember that we need to do, we don't have time to do anything else. So by putting it on paper, then you're going to prioritize it. Circle the top 3 things that need to happen. What are your top 3 priorities for the week? Narrow it down to 3. You know what? My top 1 priority is I will have 25 conversations this week. I don't know how, but I will have 25 conversations. The second thing I'm going to do is I will have 2 appointments. I don't know how, but I will have 2 appointments. So you set the outcomes. By the end of the week, what are you going to be saying that you actually did? So this is a results-based system for you to prioritize your week. Okay. Then what you do, and we're going to show you this, is you start sketching that into your calendar. How do I actually then systemize this into my schedule? Because I'll tell you what, guys, if it's not on your calendar, one calendar that you work off as a dashboard, it doesn't exist. And it's not going to get done, and you're going to waste time. Okay. So you're going to start sketching out kind of like, okay, this is what I think my week is going to look like. And weeks are going to kind of have a rhythm, right? Monday's going to kind of look similar every week. Tuesday's going to start to look similar. And the more you do this, this is a practice, the more efficient, the more effective, and the more impact you'll have with your time. And this is, we've all seen people who get more juice out of their day than others. The great thing about time is it's a great equalizer. We all get 24 hours. If you get less than that, that's a problem because you're not here anymore. Right? We all get 24 hours, but how does Serri get so dang much out of her day? Push journal, right? That's one technique. It's of prioritizing, getting focused. How do you get so much? How do people get, how did that person get so much done? It's by having a focused plan. So you take your week, and then every single day you are going to start or end. If you are a night person like me, I plan my next day the night before. If you are a morning person and you like waking up and hitting the floor running and you want to prioritize first thing in the day, do it at the beginning of the day. There is no magic to either one. It is pick one and stick with it. So the second big bullet point down here, schedule daily plan and prioritize session with yourself, 5 to 10 minutes a day. You'll get this to where it's 5 minutes. It might take you 10 to 12 in the beginning. You're going to do the same thing. Evaluate the prior day. What went well? Where did I fail? Every day you're learning. Every day you're growing. Every day you're evaluating. And by the way, guys, this is based on like all of the experts in the field that are too many to name and just distilled down into this for you. So all of this comes from, 20 years of coaching experience for myself, as well as every book I've read on productivity, as well as Keeli and Serri's input as well and experience. So then you're going to do the same thing daily. Brain dump. What has to happen today? Now you're in the day, right? The tyranny of the urgent. Oh my God, I got to do this. I got to do this. I got this person to follow up. I got 45 texts waiting for me. Right? Anybody ever felt that way? So you take that, you brain dump it all out on paper. Then you prioritize the same exact way. What are my top 3 outcomes for the day? Now you're doing one day at a time, maximizing your day. Okay, I've got until 5 o'clock. Now you're creating a deadline for yourself. Anybody ever go on vacation and the 3 days before vacation, you had the most productive 3 days of your entire business career? Anybody ever had that experience? Can I get a nod or a hell yeah or something in the chat? Like, you know what that feels like? It's like, oh my God, I got all this stuff to do. What happens? Suddenly you get really clear on a short amount of time and all the stuff that you need to do, and you let everything else go. So what we're doing by doing this weekly and daily prioritization and planning and scheduling is we're creating that sense of urgency every day. If you don't have a sense of urgency, if you aren't giving yourself deadlines, then you are going to feel like you're working 24/7 and you're really not going to be doing anything, or you're going to be doing very minimal. Get really focused, okay? And then use your calendar. And so now we're going to switch gears a little bit. We're going to talk about the technology. Then we're going to move into how do we actually leverage this technology and start using it. So we're going to do a little bit on calendar setup. I'm going to give you guys this really quick. We're going to go through this really fast, because if you don't know how to leverage Google Calendar at the highest level, what I'm going to encourage you to do is we have a training at the end that you can click, actually do the QR code, go watch. There are a million trainings online that Google provides, YouTube provides. Go Google it, how to leverage Google Calendar technology. But a couple of things that I wanted to show you is you can set up recurring events. So the example I'm going to show you at the end, I have daily planning set up every single morning recurring in my calendar. That's just going to be a recurring. I need to do that one time. The great thing about Google Calendar is you can move it around if you need to. Anything that you time block that's movable, you could move. But we're going to set up a calendar with the big blocks that are always need to be in there every day and every week. So if you don't know how to set up a recurring event, this is how you do it. You put the title in here. It says it automatically defaults to does not repeat. You click that, and then you click if it repeats. So again, I'm not going to spend too much time on the technology because you guys can go and learn this in other places. I just want to show you kind of high level that there's everything that you can do. If you don't have your notifications set in your calendar, I want to encourage you to make that a to-do today, to go, okay, I need to go into my Google Calendar. Preferably your brand Google Calendar is the one that you're working off of. We're going to show you can also add other calendars, but you want to set your notifications. I have mine defaulted to 10 minutes before. For you, for appointments, you might want it an hour before. You've got all kinds of options in here on how to best use this for yourself. And this is going to have to be customization for yourself so that you are leveraging this the best. But the settings is the big tool, little gear up here. It's at the top right hand of your calendar when you're in your desktop version or laptop version. The mobile version is different. And then the final thing is, actually there might be two more things, the team calendars. So you're going to have your own personal calendar, business calendar, that's your name, and it's going to be listed in Google. And we'll show you all this in a minute, but again, high level overview. Then you've got 3 calendars that the brand Realty provides for you. One is an events calendar, and you can see here, it's checked, which means it would show if you were viewing it on Google. That's events outside of the team. We've got TBR team, which is team meetings and trainings. And many of those you are asked to come to if you receive team leads. And then we've got our TBR vacations and time off. So you're automatically shared on these calendars when you join our team. And so these are things that you can click on and click off depending on what you want to view. But I just want to make sure that you're aware that you have access to this. Keely, anything you want to add to this?
Yes, I highly recommend leaving off the TBR vacations and time off. There shouldn't be any reason that you need to see everyone's, but it's helpful for us to know when you're out.
Yep. So you can see this one's unclicked, the TBR vacations and time off. If you're going to put time off on there, like you're going to let us know, then you click on it, then you can add something, and then you can click right back off, because otherwise your calendar suddenly is jumbled with a whole lot of other stuff. So anything you don't want to see, you can click off of. It's really great. That's why I'm encouraging you guys to learn the technology. It's not that hard. And the more you use it, just like with anything, you all use a million apps and a million different types of technology. The more you use it, the better you'll get at it. So go take a quick training on it if you need to learn more about Google Calendar. These are the things that are relevant to us. You know, on the TBR team calendar, we have different types of meetings. So anything with a yellow star is required if you're receiving team leads. Anything that's specific to a specific referral partner, we've got a little key code here for you. Anything that's Real Broker, which we definitely encourage you to attend, has a blue heart. So Serri created this beautiful key for us to help you guys. So I just wanted to remind you that this is another way we're trying to help support you. Adding calendars. I wanted to bring this up because some of you may have your own business Google account. How many people have like Mo at, real estate, mosrealestate.com, right? That's a Gmail based, account. So I have that for my own coaching and consulting business. So the great thing is when you're in your brand, so I'm Brenda at thebrandrealty.com. That is the business calendar that I work off for everything. And I recommend you work off of one calendar. Otherwise it gets too confusing. But if you have a secondary calendar or a personal calendar, let's say Serri's got, like 800 sons and they all have activities going on at the same time. And she needs to see when the school is scheduled, this, that, and the other back in the day, when you had more under the age of 18 and soccer practice and this, right? You can add your personal calendar so you can view it in conjunction with your business calendar. So there's a way to do this. And so these are the steps. You literally on the left-hand side, again, on your desktop or laptop computer, you'll see your name. This will be your brand one. Next to that is 3 little dots. You click that. What drops down is step number 2 over here. You go to settings and sharing. Once that page opens up, it's this big page over here that's number 3. And you add yourself, sorry for the pop-up, there's a little button that says add people in groups. And you add yourself to your own calendar. So if I'm in my TBR calendar, I'm going to add my Brenda at gmail.com calendar, if that's what it was. I can add that and then I can view it specifically. And then you want to change it to where the permissions say make changes and manage sharing. I know I'm going through this really quickly, guys, because you guys can find a video on this on how to do it, but I just want to show you the capability. Then you send the invitation to yourself. You get that in an email, you click that, and then it adds it to your TBR calendar. So that in the drop-down menu now over here on the step number 1, you'll be able to see, it'll say Brenda at Gmail. And I can click on and off that calendar and see it overlapped with the same calendar. Does that make sense? Everybody tracking with me? Can I get like a heck yeah, I'm with you, Brenda, in the chat. I'm still awake. I'm still alive.
What I want to tell you all is that this is recorded. This is going to go on YouTube. You guys will be able to go back and reference. Also, at the end, we have some videos that we have that you guys are going to scan that will go in more depth with this stuff. So, if you have any questions there, we're going to provide you with more materials.
100%. Like I said, the technology, if you don't know the technology, you're going to have to spend some time in it. I want to get to the point today where we're going to get to in a minute where we really dive into your calendar and how do I set up my calendar specifically? How do I create a schedule for myself? How do I get more juice out of my day? Okay. Serri?
What I want to add too is call me a nerd or whatever. It's fine. I literally took a whole weekend. This was a few months back. And I was like, gosh, I really want to understand Google Calendar like way better. Like, I just want to understand it. And I took a good solid few hours and I watched a ton of videos. Yes, thank you, Mike, for the emoji. That's correct. But I watched a ton of videos on YouTube so that I could truly understand this stuff. And that's part of where you guys have to like time block this stuff so that you can study and understand these things. You can't just assume that you're just going to figure this stuff out if you don't actually go out and implement knowledge, right? So that's why we're going through this a little bit faster. We're just kind of like trying to get the nuts and bolts in here for you guys to then go out and do the work behind that stuff. So I really encourage you guys to set time aside and study what we're talking about really deep.
Absolutely.
Quickly, can I add? I got a direct message saying that someone was missing one of the calendars. If you are missing one of them, just shoot Ashley a Slack and she'll get you added to that. And then when you get the invite and email, you have to open the email and click on the link in order for it to be added. Ashley does that for you before you all start. She logs in and she accepts every calendar for you, but we do have a newer calendar, the events one that you might not have yet if you didn't open that email invite.
Yeah, Ashley, queen of all things operational over there, will help you get on that. And so let her know. And like Serri said, we are going through this part really quickly because there's so many trainings. And if you know the technology, I don't want to spend the time on this training going through it. And if you don't, like Serri said, as a business owner, you guys have to start holding yourself, or I'm going to encourage you or suggest that you hold yourself to a higher standard. You're no longer an employee. Nobody's sitting there telling you what to do, threatening to fire you or keep you or, promise you a paycheck. It's a different mindset. So when there's a gap of knowledge or a gap of something, you've got to create that time outside of your business to study it, whether that's your communication skills, whether that's mindset related, whether that's productivity. There's courses. I mean, guys, this is only like probably 1/10 of my books. These are my favorite books right now. My whole living room is books. Like my dream is to have a full library room in my house one day. Like that's next level dream. Self-education, and it's all free now and available. So whatever you need, there are resources available to you, but you've got to set aside. Brenda, when am I going to do that? How am I going to do that? So at the beginning of the week, if self-education is part of your recurring schedule, there should be a time block for that. And then maybe you schedule out, okay, here's the topics I'm going to start covering. All right. With that, one more fun thing. You can change the colors of the calendar. Serri likes things really pretty. So she's going to make sure all the colors in her calendar are exactly aesthetically pleasing. Other people don't care. And I like certain things in gray, versus other colors. So, but you can change the colors of your calendar as well. And so again, you just go into the settings and sharing, and you can change the color. You can do all kinds of color. I'm going to give you guys an example of one I made for you last night, and it's got a million colors on it because I knew Liv, more color the better, would love it. And you can also start to then manage your calendars. When I talk about evaluating your week and you look back, if things are color coded and you notice, hey, lead generation is green and there were only 2 green windows of time in the last week, you probably didn't do enough lead generation. You can visually start to see. So the more you get into your Google Calendar, I'm obsessive, guys, about my Google Calendar. It's insane. But I've been literally using Google Calendar like that for over 15 years. But I'll tell you what, and I will challenge anybody to this, I can get more done in less time than the majority of people on the planet. And this is the starting point. This is the foundational point. Okay. So get to know the technology. And here we go. This is the part I was looking forward to. I'm going to give you guys a couple of things. So here's this visual, right? I just want you to look at the visual with nothing in it first. I like this visual. So imagine whether this is Sunday through Saturday, Monday through Sunday, however you think of your start of your work week, Friday through Thursday, whatever it is. What you're going to do for yourself, the starting point. So this is our action plan now for you to have steps. The first thing that I want you to do is I want you to take a blank template. Literally, what I would suggest is either a blank piece of paper. This paper happens to be blue because I like colored paper. Take a blank piece of paper. If you have a bigger sheet, take a bigger sheet, but physically piece of paper. And I want you to write Sunday through Saturday across the top, or Monday through Sunday, or Friday through Thursday, however your brain thinks of your start of your week. And I want you to write those days at the top of your page. Then I want you to write like 6 a.m. and then like at the bottom of the page on the left-hand side, write like 8 p.m. just so you have a visual in your mind. You're not going to be able to do this right now in its entirety, but I want you to understand the framework of the skeleton of what I'm giving you. What you're going to start with is you're going to start from scratch on that piece of paper and go, what does my week already have in it or need to have in it without anybody giving me any input? So what time do you wake up? What time do you go to bed? If you have kids, what time do they have to be at school and what is your responsibility in the morning? So between 6:30 and 7:30 is that get kids ready and out the door at school. And that's Monday through Friday across the board. What I want you to do on that piece of paper is mark that out and just put kids, school. Do a little shortcut for yourself. This is just for you. Then what I want you to do is take things like Wednesday at 9:15. Where is the majority of the brand realty team? We're all together practicing, right? So every Wednesday at 9:15, that is a set meeting. Every Thursday at 10 a.m. is a set meeting. And I want you to put in what we call the big rocks, the things that are already set in your schedule. And so if you're not familiar with the big rock analogy, I love visuals. I love thinking in pictures because that's how we think. And it's an old time management analogy that if you had a big clear bowl, and we had a bunch of big rocks, and we had some pebbles, and we had some sand, and we had some water, and we put the water in first, and then we put the pebbles in, and then we threw the big rocks in, everything would spill over. Your calendar has to be built the same way, in that you start with the big rocks first, then you put the pebbles, you put the little rocks in, then you put the pebbles in, then you put the gravel in, then you put the sand in, and then you put the water in, and suddenly magically everything fits. So you're going to build your calendar in this way. And even if you already have a calendar, I would recommend that you do this exercise for yourself. Just refresh it. How well do I know my schedule? How well and efficiently can I move through it? So you're going to do that on a piece of paper. You're going to put all the big rocks in, all the priorities. One thing that I want you to put in as a big rock, lead generation. Am I doing lead generation at least 5 days a week? What does that look like? Is that for 45 minutes? Is that for an hour? Is that for 3 hours on a Saturday at an open house? So this is you sketching out, if I had a week that I knocked it out of the park and almost had like a perfect week, this is what it would look like. That's what you're sketching out on the piece of paper. Okay? It's important, guys, that you start with this on a piece of paper. And so I have this as an example. Like, this is what your piece of paper looks like without all, it filled out. You're going to take a blank template like this, your blank piece of paper, and you're going to start filling it in. What does my week look like? What's immovable? Yes, I'm spending some extra time on this because, again, this is the critical part for you to really self-reflect and know before you move to the technology. If you're not sure what activities to be putting in there, you're going to go to our 100-point day and you're going to look at, oh yeah, I need to be making dials. Oh yeah, I need to be having conversations, right? I'm going to have appointments. I'm going to have, I'm going to plan and prioritize my day every day. I'm going to put that in there every day at 7 p.m. or every day at 7 a.m. I'm going to put in all the team meetings. Oh, guess what? I've got monthly group coaching. I'm going to make sure that's in my calendar. This morning on group coaching, 2 people agreed to script practice with each other 2 to 3 times a week. So you know what? I'm going to role play with a partner. When am I going to do that? Oh, you know what? I'm going to do that on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8 a.m. That's going to go into my calendar. So first you have to figure out what the building blocks are. Then you go over to your Google Calendar. And this is the final step. Now we go into Google Calendar and we start to create something like this. That's a template week over week over week. So I've got some recurring things in here. This is just a sample. I'll show you my calendar at the end if you guys are curious. So personal morning rituals. This isn't all work. So maybe this is, getting the kids to school. If you're doing that between 7 or 8, maybe this is your personal morning rituals. So you'll see in here, I want to highlight, I've got little agenda items in the notes section. So when I created this, so if I was going to create a new appointment, all I have to do is drag, or I can just click. So again, this is learn the technology. And I love this box right here, add description, and it opens up and I can add anything in there. This is something that I really want you guys to use on recurring. So my personal morning rituals, if I open this up to edit, I've got different things that I might be doing during that time. And so I've got suggestions for myself, and I'm going to create a ritual around that. For my weekly business planning, I have it here in this sample calendar, Monday from 8 to 9. This is an hour. I told you to do 20 to 30 minutes, but I wanted it to really highlight on this calendar that you should be doing this every week. So this is a 30-minute meeting with yourself. And once a month, I do an hour. But here, I've got an agenda. Review last week. What went well? What should I continue? Where did I fail? What could I improve? Did I complete my lead generation activities? So every week I'm holding myself accountable. Again, if I had an employee and I had just paid them for last week, I would want to review and know what did they do and what did they not do? You are that person. You are both of those people. You are your own employer and your own employee. So give myself a grade. Would I rehire myself for this week based on last week's performance? That's the weekly review. Then I'm going to plan for this week. What must I accomplish so that I hit my goal? Do a brain dump, prioritize. Then we go and we schedule those on the calendar. So remember how we created the skeleton on my blue piece of paper? This is my ideal week. My ideal week is something that I do every quarter. I go back and I revamp it and I create it on a piece of paper. Over here, I have really large, like those big easel pads. I have one that hangs on my wall. And I have my ideal schedule sketched out on there. I don't put it in my Google Calendar. I actually have it physically so I can see it. Monday's going to flow like this. Tuesday's going to flow like this. Wednesday's going to flow like this. So I can visualize my calendar each week. I know how I'm going to flow. I know what needs to happen. This is an example of that. Hey, you know what? I've got scripting and role playing every Monday and Wednesday. And now I'm going to plan my lead generation at these times. So this is the Google representation of what I'd rather you have on a physical piece of paper or on a whiteboard in your home office, that you see your whole week laid out, your ideal week. And then from there, you're going to do this daily planning every single day, and you're going to go in and look at your day and go, oh, well, what needs to happen here? Oh, I've already got 3 appointments. You know what? This is a showing appointment. This is a showing appointment that follow-up boss, put in here. Oh, look, my day's starting to fill up. Oh, I've got a business to business meeting here. I'm not putting the titles in. I'm just showing you how it'll start filling in, right? But these are the things that, you know what, I'm going to have in here: lead generation, client follow-up. I'm going to take a little bit of break. Then I'm going to do a power hour, and I'm going to leave this open for appointments. Is that making sense to everybody? So this is an ideal week. In your Google Calendar, what I want you to put and schedule are your personal morning, your daily planning and prioritizing, your team meetings. See these pretty stars, right? We've got the team meetings. Then you're going to start to fill in your other priorities. Hey, when might I do lead generation on Tuesdays? You know what? I don't have any Tuesday morning meetings. So you know what? I'm actually going to do lead generation for an hour and a half every Tuesday. And let's say your kid gets sick and you end up, boom, this is just dead time. And you end up having to run to urgent care because they have strep throat and you got to get some antibiotics, right? Well, guess what? Lead generation still has to happen. So one of the beautiful things about Google Calendar and the technology is this doesn't get erased, guys. This doesn't go away. It gets moved. You know what? Then you know what? I'm going to do an afternoon session of lead generation tonight. What lead generation am I going to do? That's where you use this description. I'm going to do lead pond calls. I'm going to do follow-up to all my nurtures. So if I was planning my day at the beginning of the day, I could use this time block and say follow up with, 30 nurtures, top of funnel, right? I click save. I click this event only because I'm not changing the recurring events. So again, learn the technology. And now I know when I get to that, should say nurtures, not natures, typo. But when I'm doing my daily planning at the beginning of the day, I'm not just saying, hey, I'm doing lead generation. I know when I start that time block, what I'm actually doing during that time block. Do you guys see how the more you do this, the more detailed you can get? And then therefore you're moving through your day without having to think. You're just on to the next thing. I have a meeting starting. See, there's one of my 10-minute reminders popping up. All right. What questions do you guys have? Where do you think you're going to get stuck? Let's have a little bit of interaction, and then Serri and Keeli, anything that I missed. I know I'm going through this really fast, and I'd love to hear some interaction.
I was going to show my calendar just to kind of show you guys live if you wanted to see it.
Let's see it.
Okay. Okay, so here's my calendar, and just to kind of live show you guys what to do. So do you see everything that's in this kind of lighter color here? So that is, you can see over here, this is a new calendar that I made called Serri's Daily Routine, right? And within, so my mornings are very special. How many of you guys like have special mornings? Yes. Okay. Raising a lot of kids, mornings were chaos for me. They're still a little chaos. They're not as bad as they used to be, but when I have order, I literally love to wake up in the morning. I love waking up and I'm like, okay, fresh new day. I'm going to have my day in order. And so I literally have things that I do, and I follow this stuff pretty precisely, you guys. So for example, on Wednesdays, I have Teams Gone Wild in the morning at 8. So I can't get my walk in when I normally do that you can see here. So I've literally moved this so I get my walk in a little bit later, right? Nobody likes me, trust me, if I don't get my walk in the morning. So I want to encourage you guys to have your daily plan. So here's the daily plan, like Brenda was talking about. What are the things that I'm doing in the morning, right? So I basically now just kind of wake up and I just go through this routine. I already know what I'm doing because I have it all laid out here. But what's cool is, so if I don't want to see that, if I don't want to see that calendar, guess what? I just click over here and it's gone, right? If I want to add it back, it's there. So that's where you create these layers. The other cool thing is, do you see here on Monday? So Monday, yesterday was actually not that bad. Like Mondays, we've moved a lot of our meetings to Tuesdays. So Mondays, guess what? I can work on things. I can literally just kind of zone out, work on things, whatever it is, talk to people. But what I do is I will block this stuff out. And so I've made a calendar for project time. So let's just say, so I'm going out of town on Thursday. So Thursday and Friday looks a little different because I'm going to an event in Houston. But let's just say I was here and I wanted to plan forward and say, hey, on Thursday, look, I have this time. I'm going to like, you know what, for a couple hours, I'm going to go really hard on some projects. So what I do is I take that time, I go over here, I go to my project time calendar, and I would just block that out, right? And then what I would do is I have a list. So I have, don't go too crazy on this with me. You guys can just write this down. But I have a list of things that I need to work on. I have how much time it will probably take me, when these things are due, and all that stuff, right? But what I can do is I could take that list and I can, let me go back, where's my calendar? Here it is. I could literally, if I want to, I could just start typing in those projects, right? And I could see how much time it needs to take. But I could block out this project time right here. So it'd just be blocked out. So I know that I'm working on projects, and these are the projects that I'm working on, and that's what I'm going to commit to. Let's just say something comes up though on Thursday and I can't do it. Like Brenda said, I can literally just take it and say, oh, okay, Friday's open. I'm going to do it on Friday, right? And so you just start planning this stuff out, but you can see this stuff that, right? Like you can see how you can start filling this stuff up. The other thing is at night I have these, and these have reminders that go off to recheck this and make sure that I have all these like reminders in place that I'm following so that I can be prepared for the next day, right? And when you go in here, I have a list of the things that I need to go through when. So, you know, there's different calendars. Like if I want to add the team calendar, I can turn that on and off, vacations, on and off, and you basically just set this stuff up. The other thing, like Brenda was saying, I have other calendars in here for like kids' schools or different things like that that I've added. And so for me, I can layer that stuff on if I need to see what's going on, for the kids' school or whatnot. Do you guys have any questions on that?
I do.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So what about overlapping, like appointment after appointment? You obviously got to take a little bit of break. Are you putting in little breaks in between to even 10 minutes or something like that?
Yes. So one thing that I'll show you on this calendar is I call it a firewall. So we in California have fires. You know how you clear the brush so that the fire doesn't jump, right? And has a stopping point. Here's the firewalls I have every day. This is just 15 minutes. You could create this for half an hour, right? So this was just an example. So Slack, text, returning text that came in while you're in lead generation, right? Because while you're in lead generation, you want that to be uninterrupted. You're not checking email, you're not checking Slack, you're not checking text, you're solely focused. So the notion of multitasking, guys, is not a good one, because that means your attention is divided. The more you can focus on one thing at a time, and then the next, and then the next, and the next, and do it sequentially, and then with breaks. So Gary, what I would suggest is, again, this is why I have lunch and prep for the afternoon. This is another firewall. And so client follow-up could, so let's say, you know what, client follow-up ended up taking this long. I still had a quick 15 minutes to grab something to eat before I jump on to my power hours. And while you're sitting at your desk on the go, your calendar on your phone, this is the great thing. It is in the cloud. Everything is there, and you'll get used to the technology there. But when you're sitting, I was going to show you my calendar. This is kind of what it looks like. I think this is next week or the week after. So we've got that event coming up. So I've got projects just like Serri that I work on, and I time block certain things out. I leave things blank intentionally because that's how my Calendly works. So if you're going to schedule a one-on-one with me, anything that's blank is typically what I'm allowing for a one-on-one for somebody finishing onboarding. New agents, I still do one-on-ones with them. You can see my group coaching is in here and set. This is blocked out because this is when I drive to the office. So I know what that is. I know my calendar backwards and forwards. So I know exactly, but this is the general structure, right? And these are the meetings that I have. And every week is like this. So this is this week. This is today. So these are all the meetings that I have. I have two more meetings, then group coaching, then I have a Zillow meeting, then I have another meeting, and then I have another meeting. Today's big meeting day. But you'll see some of these no titled ones is when I block off and I just know that's my project time. I also track everything I do. So one challenge that I'm going to give you guys is for 1 week or even 3 days, I would challenge you to track everything that you do in a day. So for example, if I go back to my calendar and I look at February, this is literally how I spent my time. And in the beginning, when I was working with Serri, this was critical that I was measuring my time and where my time was going so that I could debrief with her every week and say, listen, this is where my time is going. This is what's taking time that I think is productive. This is what I think is maybe not productive. How am I going to free up some time? Here's the meetings. So this is literally not just my schedule. This is, I moved things around and put things in. Oh, you know what? During this 2 hour or hour and a half, this is what I did. So I would encourage you to do this for at least 3 days. Is literally on your calendar. Just go to kind of, most of yours are going to be blank. And whatever you did for the last 90 minutes, go in and put in what you did. You will find opportunities where you are wasting time and you're not being efficient. And so whether that's on Google Calendar, or whether that's just on a piece of paper, you literally go from 9 to 10, I did this. From 10 to 11, I did this. Do an analysis on your time. Be honest with yourself. So again, think about if you hired an employee and you said, okay, Gary, tell me everything you did yesterday. And if they couldn't tell you and they couldn't show you an outcome, what are the chances are that you're going to retain them as an employee? You're the same. You have to wear both hats. So how are you spending your time currently? Oh, you know what? I just spent 3.5 hours on Instagram. down the rabbit hole scrolling. Oh, and then that led me over to YouTube and I watched some videos, and then, oh, that led me over to this. And then I watched some movie trailers, and holy shit, that was 4 hours. But I didn't have anything else business to do. Nothing was important. I didn't have any appointments. I mean, does that sound familiar? Guys, I've had days like that. Right? What gets you off track? Where are you wasting time? Here's what I'd rather do. I come in with the mentality, whether I'm in the office or whether I'm in my home office. When I start work, I work until I'm done, because I want to get done so I can enjoy my evening. I take a break, hopefully during the middle of the day, some days, not today. Right? And then, but like I take a midday break to rejuvenate, get food, get more water, go for a quick walk, and then finish my day. So I do my days in sprints too, so that I can be done by a reasonable time to enjoy my evening. Maybe that's for you in the morning. You want to enjoy your morning, and then you want to sprint from 10 a.m. on, right? Because your day can literally be anything you want it to be as an agent, but you have to start taking control of it and holding yourself accountable to doing the stuff that's going to make you money. And the stuff that's going to make you money is all the shit you don't want to do. All the stuff that you're avoiding. So thank you. I see Jen and Cherie laughing. So I know I'm hitting on, I see Chris going, oh, shoot. Okay. Right? It's the calls. It's the follow-up. It's calling those nurtures that you feel so uncomfortable calling. Those are the things. Okay? Get those things done first. You guys have heard broccoli. My AirPod just died because I've been on meetings so long. All right, Serri, bring us home. What do you want to share to final thoughts here?
All right. So final thoughts here, and we'll let you guys get on with your very scheduled day, right? Because you probably have something time blocked for 11 and we're 2 minutes over. I just want to encourage you all. I'm going to find the screen here. I want to encourage you all. Here, let me go into present mode. Can you guys see that?
Yes.
Okay, do you guys see the cute little dinosaur that we discovered yesterday on these QR codes? Because we had a total squirrel moment on this one. But these, you guys snap these right now. Please, please, please take the time to watch these and to study these. This time blocking tips I found and I sent over to the ops team a little while ago, and it was a game changer. So you guys grab these and just really invest in yourself and get your calendar in order. And I promise you guys could literally, like I said, you can go on YouTube and you can learn all this stuff on YouTube. You can learn all this stuff. You're going to be masters. That's my goal for you all, is to know it better than I know it. Come back and tell us something that you learned that you're like, wow, I just found this out. Put it in the Slack channels. Share it with everybody. Say, check this out. This is really cool. This is what I'm doing. If you guys want to also share like a screenshot of your calendars when you guys have this all done, that would be awesome. Let's do that. Let's put it in Slack, share it with the team. Let us know that you got all this stuff set up. I promise you, if you get this in order right now and you figure this stuff out, you guys are going to be the most successful real estate agents ever. I promise you. And you're going to have so much time back, right? So
yes.
that's
structure creates freedom. It's yes. Counterintuitive, but the more structure you have, the more freedom you will create for yourself. If you go, Brenda, I got into this business because I want freedom, and therefore I'm not going to create a schedule and I'm going to go with the flow every day. That's when you're going to feel like you're working 24/7 and you're not going to actually be moving the needle on your goals. So how about get focused, get more done in less time, get bigger results in terms of your bank account, right? And then have more free time. And so I thank you for sharing this series, because I totally got so excited and I was giving the motivational speech at the end, kicking them in the butt. I forgot about the extra, the dinosaur
the
QR
extra
codes.
Cute little QR codes. Yeah, you all took the time to show up here and listen to us. Now you got to go do it, right? It's nothing if you don't do it. It's literally you just kind of hung out with us for an hour. Yeah, go do it. Okay. It'll be exciting to see what you guys come up with. So Anyways, good to see you all. Thanks for joining, everybody. Go crush it.
So crush it. Let us know how we can help.
All right. See ya.
Bye, guys.